Hi everyone, welcome to Chapter 4, Probability. The chapter is going to introduce you to the basic concepts of probability and go through how to solve the different types of probability problems. I'm going to go over 3 Excel-based solution methods with you. You will be able to apply some of this to the homework, not all of it. I'm not going to tell you what you can apply and what you couldn't. I'm not going to go quite that far with my hints, but I will help you out quite a bit in preparing for some of the homework problems. The first thing we're going to discuss is factorial probability. Factorial probability is basically the number of different combinations into which a certain number of options may be arranged. So if you had 3 options, you would want to know how many different possible combinations can those 3 options be arranged into. And the traditional way to do this is to multiply, if there was 3 options, you multiply 3 times 2 times 1. Or if there was 4 options, you multiply 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And this gets a little cumbersome, so Excel has developed a function to help us out. So we're going to use the example 3 from the book, which is routes to the national parks. So I'm going to read you the problem quickly. You could, of course, follow along in your book, and then we'll solve it in Excel. During the summer, you're planning to visit 6 national parks, and it goes on to list all 6. You would like to plan the most efficient route, and you decide to list all of the possible routes. How many different routes are possible? So there's 6 different options, and we want to find out the number of combinations for all 6. So we're going to hop into Excel, and we're going to simply type FACT for factorial. Open parentheses, the number 6, close parentheses, enter. The answer is 720. So that's how you do a factorial problem. Next thing we're going to discuss is permutations. Permutations are a little bit more complicated, much more complicated to calculate, but just as easy to do in Excel. Excel as opposed to calculating by hand. Permutations rule, and I highly recommend you read the book carefully on this section. I'm going to explain it briefly, but to supplement what I'm going to say, please spend some time in the text. The permutations rule, you select a certain number within a larger number, and you want, what's the best way to describe this accurately? You select a smaller number within a larger number, and the smaller number has to be in order. And this is only going to be explained well through an example. I'm going to use the example through the book. I'm going to summarize example 4 in the book, the horse racing example. The permutations basically is, if say you have 20 horses running in a race, and you need to pick which 2 horses finish first and second. What are the odds on randomly picking the first and second finishing horses? So you have a large number, the 20, and you have to pick the order of items within that correctly, the 1 and 2. So how do we do that? Simply use Excel's permutation function, equals permute, open parentheses, 20 for the number of horses in the race, 2 for the number we need to get correct, enter. The odds are 1 in 380. Okay? So that's how you do a permutations problem. The next type of problem, which is very similar to permutations, is a combination problem. Combination problems are actually much more common than permutation problems. It's not that often that you have to know the exact order of something, and that's usually the key to separate the two. Once again, please read the text on this. In the combinations rule, it's essentially the same as permutations, except the order doesn't matter. The most common type of combination problem that is used in every textbook is the lottery. How do you figure out odds in a lottery? Well, you can do it by hand, which is a little cumbersome, or you can use the combination function in Excel. So we're going to use the Florida lottery example. So you have to select 6 different numbers out of 53 options. What are the odds on selecting 6 out of 53? And so we will do the math. So for combination, we don't write out all of combination. We just write combin as the Excel function. And we start with the number of possible options. So the number of balls in the big jug, which they're going to pull out on TV to tell you who won. So 53 balls. and you need to pick 6 correct. So you put 6, close parentheses, and that is your number, which looks to be 22,957,480. Okay, so you can see how easy this is in Excel. To do the math is it's still not difficult, but it's a little more time consuming. So your odds on winning this lottery would be 1 in 22,957,480. Now where they really get you is if they throw in the 1 extra ball. So they say, well, you got to get 6 out of 53, and then we have a whole separate jug of balls that we're going to have to draw, and now there's, say, 50 balls in there, and you're going to have to get 1 right on top of that. So you're going to have to get the second jug right as well as the first 6. So what are the odds on that to do it completely? So in order to figure that out, say there's a separate jug with 50 balls in it, and you've already gotten the 6 correct. And now you have to get the 1 out of the extra jug correct to win the whole lottery. So what are the odds in getting all 6 correct plus the extra 1? We would simply take the number we have here, which is the odds of getting 6 out of 53 correct, and we would multiply that number by the number of balls in the second jug, which in this case was 50. And you can see what that does to the odds. So we went from the odds of being 1 in 22 million to the odds of being 1,147,874,000 to 1 of getting that correct. And that should help you out with the homework a little bit. I hope this made sense and that you are going to have some fun with probability. If you have any questions, please contact me. And we will see you all in Chapter 5.